Hey, this is Tracy Lewis with Stuff and Things, back for part 2 of Create With Me using Hydrangea Haven Bundle. I had 3 cards left to go. One of the cards, I could have made 4, but I felt that I have done enough with this set that 3 more Avid type cards would be good enough. So this guy is all that's left, and the inserts of the dark green with a few flowers that I didn't get to. The first one that I want to share is actually going to be quick because I have a fun fold Friday. This is actually Thursday. I moved on Wednesday, and so we had to do all that, and I'm not going to get this posted until later today. And so I went ahead and thought, well, what the heck? One of the 3 cards I'm making, I will use for my fun fold because I already knew which one I wanted to do, and I thought that this set would do nicely. And I will do a quick follow-up on this card as a second video that will be released Friday with the card details. So this is just a sneak peek at the Fun Fold Friday, and here is the card and what is fun about it. So I wouldn't call it a fancy fold, I just think it's fun because when you open it up, it's just the inside strip. The focal itself is what moves up, and I let things be off the edge. I really like when you have the ability to have your die cuts be off the edge, and I purposefully picked a very long sentiment. So more on this tomorrow. There will be a video with more of the details and the dimensions that I used to make it. I did use the new tool. It's all purple. I used it on a couple of the projects that you will see. And I used the flat matte coordinating enamel dots, and the cardstock or the DSP is playing with patterns. So more on this tomorrow, dimensions wise, and how I made it. Second card actually took me a very long time. I had told you I was going to do a coloring project. This card is actually not all the way together yet because I wanted to show you what I did to create the layers. So this is a coloring project, and it was done with Light Highland Heather and BV000, which is a very light grayish purple. And then the sponging I did purposefully rough. It also already had the stamping that is mostly gone. There's a little bit of ghosting now, or a shadow that was retained, and you can still see. And I chose to focus on the flowers to give them depth and not do anything with the leaves. So then I stressed it around the edges using scissors, and I dry embossed the whole thing with the subtle embossing folder. And that is your focal. So then I took, again, playing with patterns, since I had it out, and this is Purple Posy, and I loved it. So I took the very wide silver from the holiday catalog that's carried over. It is called Metallic Mesh Ribbon, and it is quite wide, 1.5 inches wide. And I just cut it down the middle. I put down some seal, and then it's just glued on. And I played with colored pearls, clear rhinestones, and settled on the metallic silver. I just liked the somewhat matte finish and liked the silver to coordinate with the silver edging. And then the final piece, which is actually kind of funny, there's a little bow to go on it. And the reason why it's a little bow is because I am out of this seaming ribbon and I don't have any more, and I'm not going to do an order for a while. So all that I had left was that little tiny length of the seaming ribbon, and that is the second card that I made. The third card is a wild one. I had already die cut the purple. I had already cut out these little flowers to go on it, so that was my base for what I did. And after I got the green, I showed you how I did the piecing of the insets in the different colors. I thought, I'm just going to stick with a bright colored background. And it gave me an opportunity to use the new Whimsy. What do they call them? Stampin' Up calls their Whimsy Stitched with Whimsy dies. They do not have an outside cut to it. So what I did is I cut my paper down to 3.5. Yep, 3.5 by 4 3/4. And then I noticed that it wasn't quite centered, and I just trimmed off like a smidge, maybe a 1/16 off of one side and a 1/16 off of the top to make it all line up. And then it has the little purple with love that I had already done earlier and showed in a previous video. And like I said, I had used on the You Make Me Smile a bunch of rhinestones and decided that they were just too shiny. And so one of them just ended up over here on the with love. So that concludes my Stamp With Me, Create With Me. I kind of like that I could stamp on one video, because this would have been like an hour long with everything all on one video. So I think I might be doing more of these where I start with stamping, do some casual cards, and then move on to the more Avid projects. And what's funny is I never use purple, and I used more purple on these 3 cards than I've probably used in a year. So that was fun to get to use a color that I just don't. I love the color. It's just not a color that I commonly use. Let's use this bow. I haven't attached him yet. Again, comments, suggestions, questions, leave them on the YouTube channel. Let me know what you think of this card, and if it's okay by itself or if it needs more. I'm not sold on this one yet. It's the final one that I did, and I had already like put a bunch of creative effort into these 2. Coloring for me takes time. I don't speed color. I still might even add a little bit more. Oh, and I did also, before I go, I added a little bit more detail to this guy. Another color I don't use is this Rococo Rose. I do use Granny Apple Green a lot. Green is my favorite color. And I like it with this extra flower. I just found one of these floating in the dish and popped off the pearl and put the flower underneath for a little extra bonus. All right, that's it. And this is already Thursday, so Friday is going to be Fun Fold. This will be the Fun Fold that I talk about. I have an example card. That's all I had was the card. It was a swap that I had got. I think I got this swap at a stamp camp, I believe, and I loved it and kept it. In fact, I'll show you the back of it. It says, Fancy Fold Keep. So it was a keeper, and that's one of my many that I found in my box that I have now pulled aside so that I can do a bunch of fun and fancy fold Fridays. That's it. That's all I got. Thanks for watching.